Hello, everyone. It's Art Russell here at Think Twice on YouTube and thinktwice.me at wordpress.com. In today's video, I'm going to share some information that I hope will help enrich the quality of your life. Now, that richness is related to knowing or recognizing our essential nature beyond name and form. I'm hoping that the information will spark a curiosity within you to find a deeper dimension of self. So to do this, I've outlined 4 books here and I've gathered passages from each one. The first passage comes from one of my favorite spiritual books entitled I Am That. It chronicles talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj and seekers who came to visit him. People who were curious to find a deeper dimension of self. So let's go right to the passage. Here's what I really like. Your begging bowl may be of pure gold, but as long as you do not know it, you are a pauper. So he's saying, even if you're holding something, you're that close to it. If you don't know that that bowl is made of gold, you're still poor. So he's basically telling us that there's something within here that has tremendous value that goes unrecognized by the majority. And I'm hoping this video will help you be one of the minority that finds that treasure. So the second passage comes from another, favorite book of mine entitled The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I found this book back in maybe 2008 or 2009. And here's the passage. It's a little longer. It's related through a story. A beggar had been sitting by the side of the road for over 30 years. One day a stranger walked by. "Spare some change," mumbled the beggar, mechanically holding out his old baseball cap. "I have nothing to give you," said the stranger. Then he asked, "What's that you're sitting on?" "Nothing," replied the beggar, "just an old box. I have been sitting on it for as long as I can remember." "Ever looked inside?" asked the stranger. "No," said the beggar. "What's the point? There's nothing in there." "Have a look inside," insisted the stranger. The beggar managed to pry open the lid. With astonishment, disbelief, and elation, he saw that the box was filled with gold. So again, you can see that Eckhart is relating a story about something of great value being within us, inside, and he calls it gold. Priceless in the times that this would have been first told. So the third passage comes from a big book, and I'm going to admit I haven't read it. I really only got it for the one section, and it's the Lost Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Thomas. But it relates sayings, 114 sayings that were attributed to Jesus. Now, the Gospel of Thomas, the scrolls from these were part of the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found in and around 1947 near a village or a city called Nag Hammadi. And that's where we get the title of this book, the Nag Hammadi Scriptures. Saying number 3, I'm just going to read it here in full. Jesus said, "If your leaders say to you, 'Look, the kingdom is in heaven,' then the birds of heaven will precede you. If they say to you, 'It is in the sea,' then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside you and it is outside you." When you know yourselves, then you will be known, and you will understand that you are children of the living Father. But if you do not know yourselves, then you will dwell in poverty, and you are poverty. So again, in this saying, or these sayings, he's saying that if we don't know ourselves, if we don't know ourselves beyond name and form, we're poor whether we know it or not. These sayings, these passages from these books are pointing us to a deeper dimension of self. It's the essence of what we truly are. That's what my videos are all about. My book, my articles at my blog. Okay, let's go to another book. It was written by David R. Hawkins, and it's entitled Dissolving the Ego, Realizing the Self. So here's the saying from it, the passage. You have to let go of the illusion that you know who you are. In the divine state, there is nothing to know because you are it. That is a difficult leap to make, but suddenly it occurs of its own accord, and then one is free forever. Uncertainty is replaced by endless delight. Human life is then an endless comedy. You're not a who, but a what. You're not a who, as in the case of Art Russell, of name and form, but a what. And I share this in my writing also. So you might go, or might ask, well then, Art, what are we? And I'm saying that we're consciousness itself. In the passage attributed to Jesus, he said, the kingdom of heaven is within and also without. He's saying it's everything. Everything is made of consciousness. Some would call it God. Science might term it the unified field. I am that I am. That's the essence of everything. Everything, the world, is made from consciousness. Consciousness is the vehicle through which we know anything and everything. And I've got some more passages here from I Am That to finish off this video, and I hope they'll be of interest. The first one, you know only what is in your consciousness. What you claim exists outside consciousness, conscious experience, is inferred, assumed. I'm going to read it again. You know only what is in your consciousness. What you claim exists outside that conscious experience is inferred. Here's the next. All happens in consciousness. The world is but a succession of experiences. Again, the only place to have them in consciousness. You would not be able to be aware of me, this video, the Buddha, Sri Ramana Maharshi's image here, the flower, any of this without consciousness. Here's another. As all waves are in the ocean, so are all things physical and mental in awareness. Awareness or consciousness, sometimes these two terms are used together. Hence, awareness itself is all important, not the content of it. You see, people, we've been conditioned here to believe that we're the content in consciousness. This guy, Art Russell, his form, is an object in consciousness. But we naturally feel an I amness to us. subjective. We feel that we're the witness. Here's another quote. To be a person is to be asleep. Now he's meaning that if we believe we are the person, which we've been conditioned to believe, that we're asleep to our greater nature. And the purpose of this video is to help spark that curiosity, as I mentioned earlier, that I hope you'll be eager to discover that deeper dimension of self. Why? Because it's beyond the suffering that's related to identification with being the person. Here's the last one for today. In pure being, consciousness arises. In consciousness, the world appears and disappears. All there is in me. All there is mine. Before all beginnings, after all endings, I am. Now the Bible in some place says, I and the Father am one. Consciousness. If you've enjoyed this video or got something useful from it, I invite you to subscribe to my channel or click a like. And you can also find more information through my book entitled This Taste of Flesh and Bones. It's available through Amazon. Bye for now. We'll talk again soon.